Hi, this is Tom Kaler, and this is an overview of generative collective intelligence platform, a platform designed to develop trusted intelligence out of the collaborative work of human beings working together or human beings working together uh, with AI agents. So it uses a general principle of generative collective intelligence. So the data it uses is radically different from the data that LLMs use. It's based on a similar technology, but its input data is the result of our interaction. So it builds unique language and knowledge models based on how agents interact with us, how we interact with each other, and how agents interact with each other. This is designed so that agents reason with us, much like a prompt engineering stream. Think of it as we may be collectively prompt engineering these agents. It's open. You can create an account. This is your first time on the platform, you probably already created an account, and this is your introduction. When you log in, uh, it will land you. Let's see where it lands you. It will land you on a jam or maybe wherever you were last in this. And this particular one is a jam that I had created previously. I am going to not go into that right now, but this is going to give you a sense of what it does. These are agents. The blue are agents. The green are people. And this can be run single mass or with identities. And there's this notion of an idea jam, which is how we all evolve ideas together. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to answer questions about the thing we're under discussion about here. Here, we're looking at the economic impact of the Iran war. Is it going to cause a recession? And by the way, this is a jam that I created myself, enlisting the help of a few agents, these being those. These are agents I created. And then I can invite others to that, or I can just play with it myself and look at the results. These happen to be just two of my own personal identities, and you see I've only interacted via one. These are points of interaction between the agents, and what these lines will show you is how, what ideas they peer reviewed or agreed with in each other's points of view. This area allows for a research agent that you can upload documents into it. So this might have documents about the news or something, things like that, that I can query using a chatbot. Every agent is RAG enabled. That is, you can converse with it and get a sense of what its response is to each session. Every agent is able to follow the script that we all follow together, what we call a jam, a collaboration. Let's go in and take a look at what a jam looks like. Well, here we see that, by the way, I entered in, I can see the results so far. This is not about uh, keeping what we're trying to do secret. It's like making it all known what everyone has thought so far. By the way, that's all automatically generated. And this was done like in about 5 or 10 minutes. Assemble a group of agents and then set them off to answer a question. So here's the question. I can give my probability prediction that the war in Iran, I almost said Vietnamese war, is going to cause a recession. And then I give my reasoning why. I can also, I don't even have to give my prediction first. I can go in and say, hey, I just want to peer review what other people are talking about. And here I see a rather long answer by an expert in the area. I don't know who. By the way, when we're in the evaluation process, we keep it single blind. So I can say, hey, I agree with that, and I can give my reasoning why. Now, keep in mind, all of this is captured into an evolving language model of our deliberation. And it also captures what we agree with and don't agree with as we continue the deliberation. I might disagree with that, and I might not be sure about that and ask a question. So this allows me to agree, disagree, or seek more information. It then puts these things into priority order as I'm interacting with them. And I might say, well, you know what? My disagreement is above my point of agreement here. And let me see if I can make this thing. I don't seem to be able to shift there it goes. Shift the priorities. Hit the grab this guy on the left. So that tells me that my fundamental attitude here is one of disagreeing, and I can submit it. I'm not going to do that right now. I could go back to the idea jam, or I could just go see what have we learned so far. Uh, uh, what have we learned? As I'm going to ask. This will just be so far what mostly the agents have shared. I've given some demo data in here. What have we learned? Let's just ask that question. So now this is, again, the vector store. In fact, while it's computing, I will go down here and show you. You have an image of the vector store in this analytics page going way down. Oops, it's not showing at the moment. That's a thing of live demos, but it will show. Uh, it's also computed a Bayesian belief network based on what it's learned so far, which is 64% probability that the agents predict that there will be a recession. Um, and this is giving some of the themes that's picked up even from their reasoning so far. So here's what it came up with in answer to that question. And this, basically I can go and say, well, who said that? And I can, this is actually attributed to, uh, no, I can't see who said that. I can just see uh, the who generated it or what comment led to that. Sorry about that. And then that essentially creates a way to query the results as they are happening. So now I can go back to the jam. I can interact here. I can also re-engage. I go down to the bottom here. I can re-engage agents uh, to go in and answer in addition, maybe have them come in for a second judgment. But you get the idea here. This enables you to orchestrate the various agents. Now let's look at what we have within the agent category. Oops. Let's look at the agents. We have four types of agents. We have a foundation model agent, which is your standard prompt engineered agent. This is where you put a patina uh, on a prompt engineered front end on a LLM agent. And currently, the system will work with agents from OpenAI, uh, Gemini, uh, Anthropic. It obviously is agent independent. The only thing you need is an API key to that backend. It can create an autonomous, a knowledge agent. A knowledge agent allows you to create a agent that's only going to answer questions based on the knowledge you've given it in a document or data repository. So when you create a knowledge agent, you give it all the information where you want it, how you want it to be thinking, or what information you want it to reach for, and it produces kind of a RAG agent capability. I'll show you that a little bit in the resource center. And then you can create a Bayesian agent, which actually is an agent that has beliefs. In other words, you can give it a prior, a set of beliefs, and you can give it a learning rate. You can give it a resistance to belief change. So via this, we can create uh, deliberation agents that some might be very stubborn and some might be very open. We can work with things like cognitive diversity and do experiments around that. These are just purely task agents, and the BDI means it has an internal behavioral loop that it can follow as well. So it can be programmed, an autonomous agent can be programmed to go out and look for data or do other tasks. It might be a fact-checking agent or something like that. So that gives you a sense. Now we have a resources page. I'm trying to make this particular video short. Here you can find the getting started video, which you're in right now. Here can find a video on some of the underlying theory. This is based on a evolving theory of generative collective intelligence. It's really rooted in information physics. There's actually a very powerful underlying model I've been developing on this that literally models how we think together as a evolutionary process that is an extension of the Hopfield model of learning. And here you also can get access to knowledge agents yourself, some that I've created. This has quite a few documents in it, and you can say, what is generative? I don't type very well. And it will go off. It'll examine all the documents and it will give you a citation list as well. Everything that is done in the system is private and includes citations. And notice, by the way, not only do you get the citation, but you can download the document itself that has this contained in it. And it gives a pretty good answer here. It's about collective problem solving. Uh, it's about incorporating LLM technology. So think of this as a way to bring it all together. It incorporates, I don't particularly like the fact that it's using design thinking here, not the best wording, but who cares? It is also intended to be trust building and it's based on the scientific discovery process. Pretty good answer. Now, what makes this interesting as well is this agent I can actually, in administration mode, I can go in and look at how it's been queried, used, what its influence has been in various deliberations. And one of the things you'll see here is that for the agents, they have a influence rank. So if this happens to be an agent that I created, so I can see, now it has no history yet, but I can see uh, how my agent Joshua, who is a geopolitical expert, I can find out how his knowledge was used in any deliberation. So this kind of gives you a very, very quick overview, and I'm only going to show you one other thing when you want to start playing yourself. By the way, this tells you who's on, and there's two of me, and Steve Potts is on right now. So when I want to create, I can create a jam, or I can create an agent, by the way. I can start fresh with a jam. I can say, I want to do this jam about, oh, let's see, what shall we make it about? Future of AI. And I want to get, actually, let's do this, future of generative collective intelligence. And I can then give the goal here, and that'll be what shows up in the display on this agent. Uh, uh, we will build a prediction of how likely it is for GCI to move into a dominant use case for trusted AI. There we go. And so this is a demo account. This is not a super admin account, and I can create this jam. Now, the first thing I'm asked to do is what are the documents? So this will go out to my directory, and I can upload documents if I like. Or I can just go and I can do that later. I don't have to do it right now. Now, to design a jam, I can start with a predictive prompt. What do you believe is the probability that GCI will become avenue to trusted intelligence? And why do we say that? Well, we honestly believe this is the future because at some point, no matter how powerful, we're not saying anything about the LLMs are going to continue in power. In fact, this whole thing was built. I built most of this using AI coding. So this is not about saying that it's lacking. What it does lack, it lacks the ability to connect to the ground truth of human experience. And that's what we're adding. So I'm putting in that question. And then of course, I want to give it a reasoning prompt. I want to know why. What is the reason for your prediction? And I can add as many questions as I want. So this can be a multi-criteria inquiry. So I could look at, like when we do in the startup thing, I could look at team, product market fit, et cetera, whatever that happens to be. So now I continue to team selection. Well, here you can see I'm going to invite a world model AI expert. That's pretty good. That's followed, by the way, the stuff that Kuhn's working on. So I threw some papers in there. I want to throw in the free energy principal agent. That's a good thing. And we have a common good AI, which has been, there are nonprofits. So that's an agent based on all what that knows. And then, of course, let's bring in generative collective intelligence itself. And those are going to be all the participants. Oh, let's just add a human. Let's add me. And that's it. Uh, and I am now ready to get rid of this guy that's standing in my way. And I'm going to say continue. Now, what is going to happen? As I push this, it is now going to go seed the model, create the jam, and then it'll give me an opportunity to preview it. When I get to preview it, um, oop, how did I drop out there? Sorry about that. Go back to I hit the wrong keys. Yeah. So now when I get to preview it, what has it done? It's seeded it, automatically seeded some ideas, kind of given it a prior based on the question. And so it looks pretty good. Now, when I launch it, it is now going to, and this will take a while. And because what it's going to do is every one of those agents are going to read the proposition, make a forecasted prediction, uh, then they're going to interact with each other. And by the way, I can also script that to tell them to come back two more times to re-engage. So they can have their own behavioral way they engage with the deliberation. And then I'll have an immediate analytics of all the variety. And we're going to look at it here. We're just going to wait this one out because it's going to be up. It's up already. So there we go. Little aside, this is operating on about no more than $100 a month. So the whole idea of this taking massive amounts of server power is only because the way that's being used is not really looking at adaptive learning. This is actually the whole underpinning here is very closely related to the technology used that is derives from neuroscience, how the brain works, adaptive learner. So here we go, future of generative collective intelligence. Let's go take a look. Let's go take a look. Maybe I didn't hit. Okay, it's loading up. There we go. It's probably, by the way, the reason for that, that is an abnormally long delay. It's probably still uh, waiting on some, I think I put in like four agents there. So that takes a while. And by the way, what the delay is there, if for the agents that are LLM agents, they're doing a round trip out with they take the question that was given to them, and it's basically tapping into a large model agent behind it. There you go. They've already done their collaboration. We already have an idea jam, or we're all evolving together. I can go in and notice I'm building metrics on these agents as well. This is the Common Good AI agent. I can ask it a question. Uh, of course, Common Good asks, there's a high probability this is going to work. It's a little bit self-serving and funny, but I hope you enjoy it. And here I have an ability to re-engage the agents if I want. Now, finally, I can now go in and say, well, what am I could participate, obviously, but I can even just go now and look at the full analytics. And there you go. The agents have interacted and given us this You notice there's one just still coming in. It's operating in lazy mode in the back end. You can see that there's sort of a sudden drop in uh, collective free energy here. One of the things I'll publish this later in a paper, but it turns out that when you do prompt engineered agents, they really are not cognitive diverse. They don't show cognitive diversity. So they tend, after a few iterations with each other, come to the same answer. It's an unfortunate characteristic. Now, the other thing we have is a probability. Right there it is, 76% probability. And so the theming here is just very, very minimal. But the other thing is we have a rather comprehensive now, essentially network analysis of semantic similarity, uh, of co-creation. Let's look at what the co-creation potential is between agents. So we see these relationships. We see what happens now there wasn't much temporal flow, as you know, but here's a temporal flow. And here's a search for possible causal links. So all of that is coming automatically just from the little bit we did so far. Nothing other than what we did so far. Now, let me go down a couple more things more. Um, let's see if there are the rather robust and long answers that come from the agents. Those are their answers. And we still don't have a 3D image yet. I have to go fix that bug. So you get an idea of uh, kind of what you can do in creating a uh, a jam. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and use this. Create agent process is equally simple, and uh, I'd love to get your feedback and comments. And we'll put a jam up where we can start to get comments from others on kind of what we need to do to make it better. So thank you very much for this overview. Do take a look at when you do come in and look at the research agents, that'll help you with kind of getting an idea more what is going on in the theoretical underpinning as well. Thanks again, and look forward to meeting you online.